You're listening to the GRCC Provost Podcast.
Greetings, persons of quality. This is an early summer Provost podcast. It's now been 5 months since I've been in the Provost role, and I have to admit that the learning curve has been a bit more steep, the word, than I had expected. I've been here for 10 years, so there's a lot I know about the college, but boy, there is certainly a lot that I didn't know, and I've had a great time learning. I would like to say a particular thank you to everyone for your patience and your goodwill as I learn this work. I also want to thank everyone who invited me to visit with them in their offices or over a cup of coffee, the folks who invited me to department meetings, or those of you who've taken me up on my offer to come spend some time in your area, what I'm calling spending a day in the life. I really appreciate the opportunity to do that. And I want to say a particular thank you to financial aid because I had a great time in financial aid the other day. My head was spinning when I left. It's pretty complex work, but it was great. And so thanks. And I want to encourage people, please invite me. I'm lonely. If anybody out there remembers the Maytag Repairman ads.
We Maytag Repairmen are lords of loneliness, sultans of solitude.
Don't let me be the Maytag Repairman. Invite me. So I've been reflecting a little bit on the past 5 months, not only on my own learning and learning curve and my own ignorance, but I've been thinking a lot about how proud I am of the accomplishments that faculty, staff, and students have had in the last 5 months at the college. And there's no way I could ever come up with a comprehensive list, but I thought of a few things I just want to acknowledge publicly. First of all, the 100-year commencement program. Awesome. Tina Hoxie and her whole commencement team of thousands hit it out of the ballpark. And I was so proud of it, and I loved the reaction that the students and their family had. So Tina and team, first rate. Secondly, Nick Antonakis is the department head of the visual arts area. And he has spent many months putting together the accreditation portfolio and visit for our art and design programs. And he found out just this week that NASAD, the National Association of Schools of Arts and Design, gave us the maximum re-accreditation renewal of 10 years. 1 decade. Excellent job. The visitors who came also made a very profound, I think, comment, a wonderful compliment on the work in particular of the fine arts faculty, when they said, your student work here at GRCC is in many cases better than the work we see at our own schools, which are 4-year colleges and universities. The work that our faculty are helping our students do here in years 1 and 2 is often better than what they see in the junior and senior year. I thought that was a wonderful compliment. Kudos to Nick and all of the faculty in his area. I mentioned on an earlier podcast the CC STEP grant, a grant that the college has earned from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, $2.9 million to bolster our equipment needs and our programming in machine tool, welding, HVAC, auto, and craft brewing. That was a huge effort on the part of the faculty and staff in the School of Workforce Development and our grants office. Awesome, top-notch. Want to also acknowledge a recent award, a very prestigious award, an elite award won by GRCC, the 2015 Noel Levitz Retention Excellence Award. Only 3 institutions in the country win this award. It's a highly competitive process. GRCC won it for its fast-track programs led by Domingo Hernandez Gomez and John Cowles. Top-notch, nationally recognized support for students. Diane Patrick and her team in the records office have instituted one of the policies passed by AGC to automatically graduate our students when they've earned their degree. No more students having to wait and see if they got a degree yet. We proactively determine if they've won their awards, so to speak, met their goal, are ready to graduate, and we graduate them. That is a great advancement for the college, and it was hugely complex. Diane and the records office rocks. Overall, our enrollment management group, led by Eric Mullen, in conjunction with all of the academic department heads and program directors, has done a Herculean job of recruiting students to come to GRCC in a time when there are simply fewer students. The economy is good, and for all kinds of reasons, none of the community colleges is seeing a great increase in enrollment. In fact, they're seeing decreases. Our team has done stellar work. They could not do better in their recruiting efforts on behalf of the college. And then finally, our students do amazing things. I just want to pick out one example. The collegiate newspaper, GRCC's student newspaper, won 25 awards from the Michigan Community College Press Association at its annual ceremony in Lansing. These awards included first place for general excellence and first place for online paper. Amazing work led by Sean Mulhall, the editor-in-chief, who is going to be my guest during the interview portion of this program, and also led by Jennifer Ackerman Haywood, our faculty advisor to the collegiate, and all the staff members of the collegiate. Congratulations to you. Wonderful team effort. Thus ends part one. Let's have a chat with Sean Mulhall. As I've mentioned, the Collegiate is an award-winning publication. As the editor-in-chief, I mean, you have responsibility for the whole paper, so you can take a lot of pride in any of the awards, but I think there might have been some that you specifically won for specific work.
I won first place for First Amendment reporting. That was the only first place. I had an honorable mention, a third place here and there. I think feature writing. I'm more proud of the group awards, like the general excellence, like you mentioned. Online newspaper design. I don't really design the paper, but we had some center spreads in a few issues that won first and second place in one category, and we were really pushing that first semester last year, and it was good to see all that hard work pay off.
Tell me what an editor-in-chief does. Sort of give me the job description.
I don't know if we have that long. I mean, I'm a writer first and foremost, so I write stories. I write the editorial for each issue. Every story that comes in, I'll read at least one time, but it's usually more like 5 or 6 times, especially when we're putting the paper out and I keep combing through trying to find mistakes. There's, finding stories, making sure that there's stuff being written about, just managing the other editors and making sure that I know what they're up to, what they have in the works, and they know what I'm up to, so there's no conflicts, like there's not 2 people writing the same story. It's kind of like being on call 24 hours a day. The phone rings, you got to pick it up, and if there's a problem, you got to deal with it, that kind of stuff.
You had to apply to become the editor-in-chief, didn't you? Have you done that for 1 year or more than that?
I applied last May, and then I just reapplied recently and was named editor for 1 more year.
Good.
So
this will be your second year.
This will be my second year,
You're
yes.
a veteran now.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah. Were you a writer before your experience with the collegiate? What made you say, I want to be the editor-in-chief of the collegiate?
I got to go back a little bit. I took the class in 2008 originally. I liked journalism the first time around, but I wasn't really in the right frame of mind to really care too much. When I retook it, I realized that I did actually like it, and not only did I like it, but I actually did pretty well at it. By the time the semester was over, they were starting up the summer program. It was the first time they'd done that. Jennifer, the advisor, said, if you want to help out during the summer, apply to be an editor. And so I ended up applying, I think, for every job. And I was like, what's the worst that could happen? Went in, and I thought I had a horrible interview, but I guess it went okay. So I ended up with the job, and the rest, as they say, is history.
The rest is history. Did you always think from your early days as a young man that you wanted to be a writer?
No, I didn't. I didn't really know what I wanted to be. Growing up, one day I wanted to be this, one day I wanted to be that, And nothing ever really stuck like the way journalism has recently. Like even up until my first time in college, I think my first major was architecture, and I'm horrible at drawing and I'm horrible at math, so I don't know why I would pick architecture as my major. I fell in love with reading at some point, in the last 6 years. With that, I started to get interested in writing. When I came back to school, I was doing really well, mostly on all of the papers that I was writing. Mm-hmm. I had to retake journalism, and then when I retook it, I was like, all right, this is fun. I find it somewhat easy. It's definitely not easy, but it's easier for me to write than it is for me to, sit down and do a worksheet for math, or I don't even know what they do anymore. I'm nervous about taking that class.
I can't help you at all with that. Yeah, math was not my forte. I joke with the math department head that I was the odd student who really liked the story problems because that felt like English.
Yeah, you could halfway understand that.
Yeah. So you kind of stumbled on journalism and stumbled on reading and writing and sort of stumbled. Do you think you stumbled on your future career?
I think so, yeah. I mean, this is the longest I've wanted to do something, the longest I've had a major, so I figure there's a reason for that, and we'll see. I could wake up tomorrow and, oh my God, swear I turned the ringer off of my phone.
It may be something for the collegiate, so check that. And you are really 24/7 on the editor's job.
Well, I do. I have a story I have to edit when I'm done with this.
You've been a student here for about how many years? I know you came...
I came back in the fall of 2012, and the first time around, I think it was 3 semesters. Mm-hmm.
So is there a special reason you chose GRCC?
First time around, no. I didn't get the best grades in school and stayed in town and got a part-time job and found an apartment with my buddy, and we both just started taking classes at GRCC. When I came back, it was because I had to retake the classes that I had already taken here. I guess I could have gone somewhere else, but it's convenient. I grew up in Grand Rapids. I thought I'd stay here until it's time to move on.
What do you wish more faculty and staff understood about GRCC students?
You have like the average GRCC student, which is, the average age is 24 years old, but what really is the average student, because we had all different ages, every single type of person there is out there, we have somebody that like that at GRCC. So, and I feel like the faculty and staff knows that, so it's, I don't know.
Okay. So as a person who interviews people, I just want to get a sense here how I'm doing. As a person who interviews people kind of for a living, how am I doing?
I think you're doing pretty well.
Any tips for me? Because I can adjust midstream.
Well, I feel like I'm kind of giving my secret away here. I don't really prepare.
Nobody's listening.
Somebody will be.
Well, a few people.
My mom will be.
Right.
Yeah. My secret is that I don't really prepare for my interviews. Like when I was going to interview you about this podcast, I was like, okay, Lori's got a new job. She's the new provost, and she has her own podcast. And I kind of just that's all I really knew about it. And I came in, and I think I'd listened to the teaser at that point had come out. I'd heard that and had a few questions based off of that, but mostly I like to just have a conversation with the person I'm interviewing, and I think it kind of puts them at ease a little bit, makes them not so nervous, because I'm nervous going into interviews, and I try to make the other person less nervous.
Yeah, that's a good strategy, because I remember when you were interviewing me, I was nervous. And I thought, if any reporter talks to me, I'm always nervous. That always makes me nervous. And then I think, don't get lulled into a false sense of security.
That's my secret.
Yeah. All right. What do you like about GRCC? I mean, what's been the best part of this experience?
The very best part of my experience at GRCC has probably been the newspaper, but other parts that I like the group of like student leaders. Like obviously it's changed. All of Student Alliance graduated and people are taking over different positions, but I like being a part of that community. Doing more with my time here has increased the enjoyment for me tenfold.
What do you think's been like the biggest disappointment, if any?
Biggest disappointment is probably when I see other students not caring. Obviously, I'm making the most of my time here, and I'll see other, students who, they show up, they put their headphones on, they watch YouTube in the hallways until their class starts, class is over, and then they either go sit in the hallway by themselves with their headphones in, or they go home. And there's a lot more happening around here, and it can be a lot more fun, and it doesn't have to be like high school without friends. It's what you make of it.
When you think about your body of work at the Collegiate, what is the thing that you're most proud of that you've done?
I don't know if I could pick one single article, but the last issue that we released, the magazine that we did for the Armin Awards, it's, we teamed with hospice. We wrote stories about patients, hospice staff. Basically, we were just trying to answer the question, how do you live your best life? The work that I did on that issue, like especially the special section, I'm really proud of that work. My magazine story from last year, which is like my personal narrative, that one was, I thought, going to be tough to write, but it actually ended up being pretty fun, and I'm pretty proud of that one. The article that I won the award for, the First Amendment reporting, that was probably the most intense experience I've had working for the paper, because the story came in late, close to deadline, and I basically had to use every free second I had.
I know this requires you to think as a really, really old person. Okay, so get in depth, think about it. You don't know what Facebook is. Your hair is kind of a bluish tint, all that. What do you hope people will say about Sean Mulhall's journalism career?
I mean, I would hope that people would just know I was an, honest reporter, and, because that's the whole point of journalism is, you're supposed to just telling the truth, fighting for the First Amendment, and, reporting the facts. Yeah, I would hope that people would just remember me as being a reliable source to get the news from.
Is there, I asked this of all my guests, cat person or dog person?
Cat person.
I knew it. Awesome. I just felt the affinity. I knew it. Do you have a cat?
I do. Her name's Fern.
Fern?
And anybody who is connected with me on social media knows that.
So that could be a reason I should get on social media.
Yeah, she's the star of my Instagram account.
Yeah? So what does Fern look like?
She's gray, like all different kinds of gray, long hair, piercing green eyes.
Piercing green eyes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cats are great. What do you wish I had asked you?
It's hard for me to know what you didn't ask because you didn't ask it.
No, but this is what do you wish I had asked?
Yeah, I know.
This is really your chance to tell me anything. Tell our listening audience anything that you think is important to know about you, the Collegiate, GRCC.
I mean, we have the website, thecollegiatelive.com.
Would that be www.
Yes.
.thecollegiatelive.com?
Yeah, I'll send you a link in your email because I know you got the email going.
All right, I can do email.
Everything that's ever been written, or I shouldn't say that, but everything that's been written, at least while I've been there for the Collegiate, is on the web at thecollegiatelive.com. We have copies of everything that's been printed, and if people want a copy of the magazine, they can email me or Jennifer.
Would that be Jennifer Ackerman Haywood, the Collegiate Advisor?
That is Jennifer, yes.
All right.
And her email is jhaywood@grcc.edu, and mine is Sean Mulhall email.grcc.edu.
One final question, because I get the feeling that you do understand technology a little bit better than I do. I'm trying to branch out now. So I have my podcast now, Sean. What is the next venue I should explore to help people understand how proud the provost is of GRCC, the good work of GRCC, and what's going on here? What is my next step, in your opinion?
I don't know. I would suggest to get an Instagram account, but that's mostly because it's fun. It's just, there's a lot of cool stuff on there. It's like Facebook or Twitter, but it's just pictures. Like you just take a picture and then you can say whatever you want about it. And then you follow other people who post cool things.
So I post a picture and I say something about it.
Yeah, you'd
Like,
post a
here's
picture.
my cat, don't you wish yours was as good looking as mine?
Exactly. And I've posted things like that before. Or you could post something of like this room. Say, I'm recording a podcast with Sean Mulhall of the Collegiate. Stay tuned, look out for it, stuff like that. Or the construction, take a picture. The construction's coming along nicely. It should be done by fall semester, stuff like that.
So you think Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram's fun. You have a smartphone, right?
Yeah.
You'll figure it out. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. I do really appreciate your time being on the podcast. I really saw this podcast ultimately as more for faculty and staff, but you have helped me think of it in a new way. And so you've actually got me thinking about communicating with the students here more. Good journalistic work you're doing, Sean. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on. I'm glad I could help in that aspect. There's just interesting people all over campus, and whether they're student leaders or not, or they sit on their phone and watch YouTube, there's still everybody's got a story to tell. So
yeah. And now I know what Instagram is. Awesome.
Maybe I'll have somebody following me here pretty soon when you set up your account.
We'll see. I noted earlier a number of the things that I'm very, very proud of about GRCC's faculty and staff. And I guess for me, summer is kind of a time of reflection. It gives me some time to enjoy my charming spouse and my wonderful cat. And it also gives me time to think about what I want to accomplish for the upcoming year. You may worry, is Lori really working over the summer? Let me assure you, yes, I am. I've been working on a number of things, and they absolutely tie back to the talk that I gave when I applied for this position. I talked about having 3 major goals for the institution: to improve the personal connections that we make with our students, to clarify institutional processes so that students have a clear pathway to their goal, and to promote a culture that's collegial and inclusive. After the first 5 months of kind of scrambling to learn the work, I have an opportunity now this summer to think a lot about a number of things. One of them is furthering our work with guided pathways, improving and making more smooth the pipeline that our students follow from finding out about GRCC to applying, to getting through the classes, to graduating, to transfer, or to a job. Guided pathways will be something you will hear more about in the coming year. I've also been working with my team on bolstering our advising model so that more students receive academic advising, and we do that in a way which allows us to serve our students in the most effective and efficient, worthwhile manner. I'm also working, as I said I would, on that whole clarity issue, not just for students, but for faculty and staff. We're taking a look at the results of the surveys on the new faculty evaluation system. We've been collecting data for the past 2 years from the faculty and from all stakeholders. And in the fall, I'll be sharing that data with the faculty, with the college campus, and we'll have some opportunities for discussion and input. Been working on bolstering the work of our dual enrollment unit, trying to solidify our processes around that, and also improving our catalog processes. These are just a few of the things that my team and I, certainly not just me, are working on. We're also preparing next year's AGC work and preparing for the future of ISIS, distance education, the Center for Teaching Excellence, because we know that we're going to have a number of departures there, and we're going to need to make sure that the work of that unit continues. So I'm keeping busy, rest assured. I had some time, a little bit of time off. My husband and I went to Toronto. One of our favorite things is to pick a big city and go there. It's like a running series for us, a running comedic series, The Two Dorks Visit. So we had 2 dorks in Toronto. It was fabulous. We were plenty dorky. My recommendations for anyone who might be going, the Bata Shoe Museum. I'm not kidding. Shoes, awesome. Great cultural, historical significance, and the wonderful kinds of diverse food you can have there. I hope that all of you are also finding time to do whatever it is that you love to do with whomever it is you love. Finally, as always, to my colleagues at GRCC, please remember that I am proud of the work you do. You are the highly esteemed... You gotta fix that, Noah. You are the highly esteemed, much appreciated faculty and staff of a very happy provost. Boom.
You've been listening to the GRCC Provost Podcast, produced by GRCC Media Technologies. Join us next episode for more Provost.